This is the answer to the cash flow forecast for Mighty Mechanics. The first thing we need to look at is the cash inflows. And you can see that they have 4,000 in January, 5,500 in February, 3,200 in March, etc. So we'll label that up, sales, and where it's yellow there, we'll fill it in across. There is a second cash inflow, if you look in the paragraph here, that they plan to borrow £1,000 in January. So you can now put the loan for £1,000 in January. So to get our total cash flows, we just add together our sales plus our loan. So in January it will be 5,000, in February it will be 5,500, etc. So we've now done our cash inflows. The next step is to look at our cash outflows. You can see that they plan to buy equipment in February for 880. So if you look here, I've only put that outflow for equipment in February. The rest of them are blank because they didn't spend any money. Underneath that, we have their payments for electricity and gas. And again, they only paid for that in March and June, so that is where it is. Then we look at their rent. That is £800 a month. So that's that on your cash flow. The staff is £800 each. That's £1,600 a month. And then in March, we have an advert, which is £1,000. So here are those shown on the cash flow. So we now have put in all our cash outflows and we can total them up just by adding them all up. So the cash outflow in January is 800 plus 1,600, which is 2,400, etc. So here are the answers. So we've now worked out our cash inflows and our cash outflows, and it's time to fill in the last three rows of our cash flow. So first of all, we need to work out what the net cash flow is. To do that, we work out how much money we've got as our total inflow. So in January, that's £5,000. And then we take away our total outflows, and in January, that's 2,400. So our net cash flow is 5,000 minus 2,400. So that is 2,600. And you can see that in March, their inflows were 3,200 and their outflows were 3,850. So they spent £650 more than they had in March. The next thing that we need to work out is the opening balance. Now we know that this is the first 6 months of them trading. That means because they haven't done anything, their bank account would start with 0 in January. So they had nothing in their bank account in January. We're now going to work out their closing balance. So they started with a 0, they paid in £5,000, they paid out 2,400, so their net cash flow was 2,600. So we add the opening balance to the net cash flow, and at the end of January, they had £2,600 in their bank account. So we now need to think about what the opening balance might be for February. What you need to think about is at the end of January, January the 31st, they went to bed with £2,600 in their account. At February 1st, they wake up and they still have £2,600 in their bank account. So the closing balance of the previous month becomes the opening balance of the next month. So we can see the 2,600 going across to the start of February, and then the net cash flow plus the opening balance equals our new closing balance, and therefore, and so on and so on. So check your answer and see if you've managed to get the same answer of me. If you've made any mistakes, highlight them on your cash flow and show them to your teacher.